Many workers in the human services sector feel reluctant to engage with their clients around drug use issues because they feel that they lack the in-depth drug knowledge that might be required. There's a myth out there that a person needs to be an expert in drugs in order to assist their clients with these issues. When we talk about substances and substance use, it can seem like an almost impossible task to understand what they all are and how they work. There seem to be many different types out there, so many street names and local slang references that we hear through the media and through social contacts. I'm Dave from the Drug Education Network. By the end of this video, you'll know where to find and how to use an excellent source of information on drug types and their effects, so you can have all the information that you require right at your fingertips. The Alcohol and Drug Foundation have compiled a drug list and drug wheel that you can access at adf.org.au that will assist you to understand what the different drug types are, their effects, and how they relate to each other. Let's dive in and have a look at the wheel and touch on some of the substances mentioned. The first thing you will notice is that the wheel is divided into sections or rings. The inside tells you the different categories of drugs, the outside section lists the various substances that come under that category, and the middle section describes the effects of the substance. Let's start by looking at the inner section of the drug wheel where the categories are listed. As you can see, there are 7 headings: stimulants, depressants, opioids, psychedelics, cannabinoids, dissociatives, and pathogens. This is a simple way of grouping drugs according to their chemical makeup and their effects. If you click on any of the categories, you'll go through to the relevant page of the drug list that explains everything that you would need to know about that category of drugs. It's useful to understand something of the different categories of drugs, so let's have a look at some of them together. Let's start with stimulants. A stimulant substance speeds up the messages going between the brain and the body. They can make a person feel more awake and alert, can increase their sense of confidence, can seem to give them a boost of energy. They can decrease feelings of hunger and have in the past been used in weight loss programs. Stimulants can also increase heart rate and blood pressure, and they come in many forms, which you'll see listed on the outer section of the drug wheel. They include caffeine, ephedrine, which used to be used in cold and flu capsules and is used in the manufacture of methamphetamine or ice, nicotine, amphetamines, including methamphetamines or ice, and cocaine. Okay, so let's look at another category. Let's look at depressants. Depressants slow down the central nervous system. They slow down the messages going to and from the brain and the body. They don't necessarily make a person depressed, but that may be experienced to some degree when a substance is used in larger doses. Depressants can make people feel relaxed and less inhibited, less agitated and less stressed, and can lower the heart rate, leading to a reduction in blood pressure. Some depressant drugs are alcohol, benzodiazepines or tranquilizers, GHB, sometimes known as fantasy, and kava, made from the root or trunk of the kava plant. Okay, so let's look at dissociatives. These are a type of psychedelic drug that can cause distorted sensory perceptions and feelings of separation from reality and the body. They can produce feelings of floating and can reduce pain responses, even in low doses. Dissociatives can also produce hallucinations, and in some cases, depending on the type and use, can cause sensations of euphoria and numbness. Some dissociatives are ketamine, methoxetamine, and nitrous oxide, often used in the street in the form of nangs. So let's look at one more. Let's have a closer look at pathogens. As the name implies, pathogen-based substances increase an individual's feeling of connectedness and empathy. They've been associated with feelings of playfulness and sexual arousal. Pathogens release dopamine and serotonin in the brain, which controls mood, sleep, appetite, and body temperature. Some pathogens are ethylone, known as cat or bath salts, MDMA or ecstasy, PMA and PMMA, which are artificial chemical compounds that replicate mescaline. For each substance on the wheel, if you click on it, you will find a description, a list of alternative names, a list of other drugs in that category, a detailed description of the effects of that substance, including short and long-term effects, overdose risks, and withdrawal information. The site is kept up to date as new drugs emerge and as new street names for the drugs become apparent. So that's an overview of the drug wheel and the drug list. I trust that you can see how much information is in there and how easy it is to access. Now let's look at a practical application of this tool. Here's an example for you to explore using the wheel. In this scenario, you're working in community outreach with a client, and in your discussions they mention issues surrounding their substance use. The client reports using several substances which include cannabis, alcohol, tobacco and some pain medications, including codeine and also a prescribed pain reliever and a sedative from their doctor. The client discusses struggling to get off the ciggies that they've been smoking for many years, and they tell you that a cigarette goes nicely along with a coffee. However, they also note that by the early afternoon they're often feeling anxious and nervy and usually smoke a joint of cannabis to help them calm and settle themselves down. The client often begins to use alcohol in the late afternoon and reports that they may have another joint or two before taking their medications and going to bed. What do you notice about this client? Looking again at the drug wheel, are there any possible concerns? You might notice that the client is using a number of depressants, alcohol and the sedative, as well as cannabis and codeine and opioid. All of these drugs can slow down a person's breathing rate, and in combination there is a real risk of overdose. So as well as giving you an excellent source of drug information, the drug wheel provides an opportunity to discuss and educate the client around their substance use in their life. It offers the capacity to simplify the understanding of how some of the substances the client is using may be placing their health at risk, and begin possible discussions about client-centered and client-led solutions. Access to this information means that as practitioners, we don't have to be an expert in drugs in order to engage with our clients around the subject. And when we give our clients access to better sources of information, we enable them to make better informed choices about their substance use and their health. Okay, thanks for watching this video. I hope that it's helped you feel more confident that you can find some of the information that you may need when working with drug and alcohol issues. Here at the Drug Education Network, we produce a range of resources for workers and community members, which you can find by looking at our website at www.den.org.au.